All right, everyone, welcome back to the Lethal Library. I am your host, Stephanie.
And I'm Dani.
And today, Dani is going to tell us yet another sordid case of crime in Idaho. What do you got for us, Dani?
So here's a question for you. How many times does a guy have to get busted before someone says, hey, maybe this guy should stay in prison?
Well, Creech. Great example there. But sometimes, many times, it shouldn't take that much.
Well, apparently in Idaho, it takes a few. Buckle up, friends. This one is a double header of bad decisions, parole board failures, and murder in the mountains. Let's dive into the dark story of Edward Palmer, Idaho's very own bad penny that just won't go away. Sources used in this episode are articles from Bonner County Daily Bee, the Idaho World, and that bitch, the Idaho Statesman.
Love you.
On May 20th, 1990, Boise couple David Middlemist and Kathy Enoch took a short scenic drive towards Idaho City. The couple was out to deliver a stuffed animal machine to the Clear Creek Lodge just south of Idaho City. And I think that the stuffed animal machine was a claw machine. That's just what I picture.
I bet, yeah.
When they arrived at the lodge, the power was off due to a recent storm in the area. No one was around. So they headed up to Idaho City to kill a little time. David and Kathy ended up at Killer's Steakhouse and Saloon.
Those who know.
That is where they were last seen about 8:30 that night at the bar. Is that the one?
I think it's now the something or other saloon. Is it the one with the
Outside area?
Yeah, like for a band, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's that one.
When the couple didn't return home that evening, the families called authorities and reported them missing. Because this was just not like them.
Yeah.
And Idaho City is a short, that's a really nice day trip.
Yeah, and in May, you shouldn't be having bad weather or super snowy roads. I will say Idaho City is still plagued with power outages just because it is in a very mountainous area with a ton of trees. And so they still do experience more outages than most places in Idaho.
The next day, their families headed up to Idaho City to try and find them. A family member located David's 1978 Chevy pickup parked outside of the bar. Inside the truck was Kathy's sweater, and the keys were still in the ignition.
Red flag, red flag.
After speaking with witnesses that were in the bar that night, detectives turned to Clear Creek Lodge, 9 miles south of Idaho City. Because that was their original destination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so did they go back? Did someone give them a ride? What's up?
Authorities were searching around the area and even brought in dog teams to assist in the search. The couple seemed to have vanished. Which I will say, for them to be bringing in dogs day 1 or 2 is pretty unique.
Especially for adults.
Right.
Definitely. They're like, how do you know they didn't just run off to Cancun?
Right.
Is always the thing. Well, they're adults. They can leave and not tell anyone. And I feel that most people know the type of person that does that. And you might have a crazy cousin or friend where you're like, there was that one time they went and did a 12-week backpacking in Europe and kind of forgot to let us know. But we knew that they were the type to do that. But when you hear some of these cases that are so frustrating where it's like, yes, I know that my daughter is 19, but my daughter would not do this. She's an adult now, but this is we know where her car is. There's 5 or 6 pieces of evidence that are this is not right. And they're still well, it's the adult rule. Let's use some discernment.
So for this small county to start bringing out search dogs and recognizing that there was something wrong in the 1990s, kudos.
Huge.
That's a big deal because, I mean, we've covered cases. We've heard cases where
so frustrating.
they're just like, don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
They're adults. No, they're adults missing.
Yeah.
In June, authorities want to question the Clear Creek Lodge's manager, Ed Palmer. They discovered Palmer left town just 2 days after David and Kathy disappeared.
Not the manager.
Boise County Sheriff Craig Landers said, quote, he left about a day after the people were reported missing, and we'd like to ask him if he knows anything about it.
Yeah, you were the manager, sir. You're not just some dishwasher that's floating around through towns.
It has us a little curious as to why he left. We want to talk to him awful bad. We think he could answer a few questions for us.
How Idaho nice. We just really like to talk to him awful bad. And we don't have a southern accent here, but Idaho nice is like, people say people in Idaho are so nice. And people are generally nice and will help you. But Idaho nice and New York nice are different. New York nice is like extremely genuine, but kind of an asshole while saying it. Idaho nice is always a pleasant demeanor, even if someone is being rude to you. So we'd like to talk to him awful bad.
Awful bad. Yeah, and it's not even a southern, but that I thought that was, it was very cutesy how he was asking this guy.
We do have guns and they're looking for you.
And they were delivering items to your place of business that you were managing, and so we're just curious.
There's an undertone there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I love that. Sheriff Landers said Palmer is also wanted for a parole violation stemming from a 1978 felony conviction.
Ooh.
But refused to release the nature of the crime. Quote, we don't have anything showing that Palmer has a connection with the disappearance, but we'd like to question him. From what we hear, he left on his own. That's what's kind of strange.
Very much like, y'all need to tell us where this person is because just very weird.
He just up and left, and he's on parole. The owner of Clear Creek Lodge, Bud Irwin, said Palmer left around 4:30 p.m. on May 22nd. With no leads, Boise County Sheriff asked the FBI to join the investigation in July. They really want to find Palmer and ask the FBI to help in the investigation because they believe he is out of state.
You jump town, you jump state, FBI. Come on in. They're very, very proactive. We're not talking about 3 years later, like, FBI, can you help us?
No, and that's what's super. And if this county is so tiny, and it's tiny now, it was super tiny, if that's even like super tiny in 1990. Sheriff Landers said, yeah, we have an idea of where he's at.
Ooh.
So I think that they knew where he was at. And they're like, yo, FBI, we can't go over there. That's not within our jurisdiction, but you can. So to come help us. Like, we already.
Help us out. We don't ask for a lot. We're Idaho. Nobody lives here.
And also, it's not going to be hard work because we're just going to tell you where he's at.
Yeah, your time to shine. Go ahead and say you found him.
Yeah. But Palmer turned himself into authorities on July 7th for his parole violation.
But they didn't say what the nature of the crime was, but from the 70s.
Right. 78, he was a felon. When questioned, so he's like, yeah, I did it. I broke my parole. Okay, I'm going back to jail. When questioned by detectives about the missing couple, Palmer refused to talk.
Ooh.
He only stated that he is afraid for his life because of all the publicity around the missing persons case and that he had left Idaho to visit his sick sister in Washington. Tongue twister.
Very convenient.
Very. On October 14th that year, a hunter was out elk hunting. He aimed at 3 cow elk under some trees and took a shot. The elk fled, and he followed a blood trail to locate the cow he had shot. He got one. Leroy Griffith said, quote, I noticed all these bones while I was looking for the elk. I saw something that looked like a leg bone and some other bones, but it didn't dawn on me what they were. Then he noticed a round object beneath a tree. Quote, I didn't know what it was until I picked it up.
Well, and I would have honestly too, because sometimes you only see a piece and you're like, what is this? And some of those bones, like a hip bone and stuff from an animal, like they have rounded points, and you find some crazy cool bones out there. So,
And a bunch of pine needles, like you don't, but still.
but then picking it up and realizing, because there's no mistaking the shape of a human skull. There really isn't.
He said, quote, the minute I found out it was a skull, the elk hunting was over with. That's so Idaho. I went home in a beeline and called the sheriff. It's spooky how I was led to it on the first day of hunting season. Anyway.
Good on him for saying, no, hunting's over.
Hunting's over. Gotta go.
Yeah.
There's no cell phones. There was no nothing.
No.
You really gotta just literally call it a day.
I bet it jolted him. It sounds.
Oh, I would have been. Yeah. He, I feel hunter, manly man, but I bet you that was traumatizing.
Oh, yeah.
And he just said it in a very calm way when speaking to the media and police detectives. But I'm sure when he got home, he had a different,
That's got to rock you.
picking it up. I've been like,
and you know that it's not like ancient, No.
Appropriate timing. The partially decomposed skull of Kathy Enoch was found about 4 miles southeast of Clear Creek Lodge. She was identified by dental records. Sheriff Landers brought more dogs into the search area, and another skull was located 3 days later. The authorities believe it's David. Sheriff Landers said, quote, I think we finally located our 2 people. We found the lower portion of a body with some clothing. We also located a skull and what appears to be a backbone. Terrible. In May of 1991, Ed Palmer is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He is accused of shooting David and Kathy in the head with a .44 caliber pistol. A woman that lived and worked at the lodge, Michelle Taylor, said she had left the lodge that day to go to Boise with family. When she returned around sundown, the lodge was locked. And there's a lot of small towns around here that you have to travel there to get things. I mean, they're going to have a small little
convenience store.
If even, yeah. I mean, that's going to be, some towns have a little grocery store, but you're paying a lot of money.
Yeah, and if you're running a lodge, you have to have bulk items.
So that it's a 45-minute drive, maybe, down to Boise. And so that's what you do. You drive down to the valley and get your stuff. So
take care of any errands you need to do.
Your doctors, your dentist, your anything you need. You want to buy clothes, unless you want them to say Idaho City, and pay $40, you're driving to the valley to get them. So.
Absolutely.
Michelle that day had noticed David's truck, but she couldn't find anybody at the lodge. She then drove to Killer's, the restaurant, and her family dropped her off around 10 p.m. And shortly after, Palmer walked in the front door. Michelle said, quote, that night I saw Ed. I didn't think he was drunk. He looked totally out of it. Totally. He seemed to be dazed and he was coughing real bad. Michelle said, quote, that night I saw Ed. I didn't think he was drunk. He looked totally out of it. Totally. He seemed to be dazed and was coughing real bad. Maybe he was out of breath. Or, I don't know, can sometimes anxiety cause you to like have like a reaction like that, like maybe a coughing or...
That could maybe do it. I think it could be an out of breath. Because listen, if I had to hike up and down a hill 3-4 miles away from my business, I would probably just be flat on the ground coughing. So
So he's been charged. And we're clear into September of 1992 before the trial begins. Prosecutor Michael Caine said in his opening statement that witnesses saw Palmer stumble along the streets of Idaho City on May 20th as if he was drunk. So we're getting different reports.
eyewitnesses, different people are seeing different things.
Quote, the defendant admits he was with them. He said he took them for a ride and then took them back. Only the defendant knows what happened over the next 2 or 3 hours, referring to the couple. Defense attorney Bob Chastain declined to make an opening statement. Why are you going to be fucking weird about things?
I don't like that.
Why do you got to be weird?
I feel like that's a good chance for a defense attorney because, for one, you want to keep an audience listening. And doesn't the defense usually go last?
Yeah.
So you want to say, listen, you're going to hear this, this, and this. And you want to give them a smidge of,
Keep this in mind.
We've got things that show this. We've got things that show that. So you just wait and keep that in your head. That way, hopefully, they haven't won over the hearts and minds completely. And they're like, okay, I heard what the prosecution said, but I do want to hear about that one thing that he mentioned. So I'm going to be listening instead of being like, it's a closed case. It's a wrap. This guy's guilty. So bad choice, in my opinion.
And it's just weird. Look, if I'm a juror, if I watch Law and Order, I am expecting opening statements. Okay? I don't care.
Yeah.
I am expecting him. So if you're going to be that weird attorney, it's like, we're going to reserve our opening statements before we present our testimony. Okay, you're weird.
It is weird, especially because the prosecution likely just railed your client and was like, I'm going to show you this and I'm going to show you this.
It gives me immediate doubt because I'm like, why wouldn't you just tell me your story? Because that's what these opening statements are. It's your story. You're going to lay out your case. You're going to tell you why you're going to think this way and what you're going to produce and present.
Yeah.
But you just leave me hanging.
Yeah, it's very weird. I understand a defendant not testifying.
Right.
I can totally understand that. This, I don't understand.
Because I feel like, why wouldn't you just say? Because on the outside looking in as a juror, I'd be like, oh, they want to hear their whole story before they present their story.
Yeah.
Sketch.
Interesting.
Remember Chastain? He was Priest's defense attorney. So we've discussed him before. During the trial, FBI experts testify that the bullets that killed David and Kathy may have come from Palmer's black powder revolver. A scientist, Vincent Gwynn, testified for the defense. He said that the FBI made a number of mistakes when analyzing the bullets to kill the couple. He said the copper value from the bullets did not come from the same batch of lead found in other bullets known to be owned by Palmer. And there was also a question about how they located some of the other bullets authorities claimed to be Palmer's.
Now, I wish I could remember, but it was a recent Dateline where lead analysis came into the equation. And I think it was around this time, maybe earlier a little bit, but that is not a science that is used for guns anymore. And it was kind of proven to be junk science. I could be wrong. If you know something different, if you're a expert in this field, tell me about it. But I feel like I just heard that on a Dateline where they're like, yeah, this isn't even a valid way that you can do comparing like the lead batch. It's no good for what it's worth.
So let me tell you why he's questioning. Like, okay, this is where you got the bullet samples from. So when Palmer left town, he went and gave that gun. He was like really big into these black powder guns. So he went and gave this gun to a friend of his to hold for him. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can have a black powder. No, he's a felon. I don't even know if he could. He bought the guns legally, but I don't know if he could own them legally. Two different things. But his friend was like, I don't want to load a gun around my house because they're different. They're a different type of gun.
Well, why do I need to hold the gun for you? Regardless what kind of gun it is.
Look, I could see these good old boys up there being like, hey, I'm going to go out of town. You know, I'm a convicted felon and I shouldn't be having this gun on me. So can I just keep it at your house? I totally can see this.
Okay.
You know,
Makes sense.
or I don't want to leave it in my room at the hotel. He probably stayed at that lodge. I don't want to leave it in my room. Everybody will know I'm gone. They'll probably ransack it. Like, you don't know. So, you know, could you just hold? I don't want to be traveling with a gun. I don't need to be traveling with a gun. I mean, there's a lot of people that travel with guns, but I don't feel like it's necessary to travel with a gun.
If you're a felon,
Okay,
that's fair.
What friend did was because it's a black powder gun, and he's like, I don't know how these guns work, so I'm going to go and unload it into my wood pile. Just so it's not loaded. Well, put it in the house. Set it and forget it.
Easy. Gun safety, kids. That's not how you do it, but okay.
Yeah.
It was better than nothing, sure.
I don't even know how you would unload a black powder. Like, that's a whole nother thing.
I
And I didn't research it. But then the sheriff said, oh, I want you to go out in that wood pile and find me those bullets. And they're not, I don't even think they're bullets. They're balls. I'm not sure. I should have done more. My bad. I should have done some research. So the sheriff said, hey, friend, that wood pile that you discharged all those bullets that were left in that gun, you should go dig them out of that wood pile and bring them to me. Fair. Is that the proper way to collect evidence, though?
No, you probably should get it yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, but
sorry, Sheriff. Like,
you didn't
I was
wanna make the
farting on
drive.
you, and then this happened.
Like, we got the FBI involved. We got the dogs involved. You can't make a quick trip up to Idaho City. Go.
He lives there.
Yeah.
Just go look. Don't be asking the friend to be bringing you bullets. Anyway, so that's what the defense was saying. Like, you went and he handed you over some bullets he dug out of his. Anyway.
Didn't follow the proper chain of possession or whatever they call it. Like, who can be touching what. Yeah.
Correct. And you can go at us and correct us on that terminology because I know there's a word for it.
There's
I just
a
can't.
thing for it.
Chain of custody.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
There we go. I knew it was a thing. We're getting it, guys. We're
Cheers,
trying our best. Cheers.
All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Testifying in his own defense.
Oh. And didn't I just mention, like, if you were to not testify, that's people are okay with that. Not making an opening statement, they're not so okay with it. So let's do 2 negatives. Boom. Let's go.
Palmer denied killing the couple.
Ooh.
When asked point blank by Chastain, he said, quote, no, I did not. No, I did not. Palmer admitted he took the couple for a ride to do his fire checks. Palmer was a volunteer firefighter. But he said he later dropped them back off at the lodge and David and Kathy left. And he's like, they just took off.
Who knows?
Took him for a little ride. Showed him I had to do my fire checks.
They disappeared into the dust.
In closing arguments, Kane stated that the motive in the case was sexual assault. He said Palmer shot David in the head, execution style, and then chased down Kathy and shot her. Her remains were found about 200 yards from David's. Kathy's clothes had been found inside out, but still buttoned. Kane said this shows her clothes were forcibly removed.
I think that could point that direction.
The jury deliberated for 14 hours, over 2 days, before they came back with a guilty verdict for 2 counts of first-degree murder. Prosecutor Kane said he's going to seek the death penalty.
I don't doubt it, especially in this time.
Everybody's getting...
Everybody... Idaho was the Oprah of death penalty. I would like to see the stats and also per capita of how many death penalties were given per capita during this time before the Supreme Court was like, oh, what are you guys been doing over here for a few decades?
Can we talk about this?
Oh, can you log off real quick? We just need to have a chat. Go ahead and lock it.
Like, will you quit sending us these fucking cases to review? Get your shit together, Idaho. In 1993, so we're 3 years after this horrible murder. There were kids. The sentencing hearing was held in October. I don't know what the holdup. I don't know. Prosecutor Kane said the death penalty is necessary due to aggravating circumstances. The aggravating circumstance? Palmer had previously been convicted of murder.
Get out of here. Is this the probation that he jumped where they would not release the information? Oh, well, what the hell were you doing, Mr. Palmer?
Yeah. And, they can't mention it during trial.
No, they can't.
That's prejudice. So
I see why they held it back, but...
And that's why Sheriff Landers was very, very interested.
He's just like, everything will be hunky-dory, bro. Just want to have a quick chat. Few questions. No big deal.
Wasn't a bad check. Wasn't selling a little dope. So I'm going to take you back.
Yes, I got to hear this now.
In 1977, Opal Almanza, 58, and Henry Mitchell, 57, left the Spokane area in May to go check on a friend's house in Spirit Lake, Idaho. And Spokane is located very close to the Idaho border. Mm-hmm. We've done previous cases on this
that went back and forth.
So it's not very far. And Spokane is really a larger town compared to those towns that were up in northern Idaho at that time. So that's... People go to Spokane to do their grocery shopping, their clothes shopping, school shopping. I bet you those kids are going every,
Because what's near there? Is it Lewiston? Or might I be thinking of the wrong map here? I get a little turned around.
I think it's Lewiston and Coeur d'Alene.
Oh.
I think it's kind of right in between there.
But it's panhandly, right?
It's panhandly for sure. Do you want me to Google it?
Let's look. I just want it for my own.
Because Idaho's a large state, ladies and gents.
It is quite large.
Let's put, how far is Spokane from... Let's do Spirit Lake, because that's where they were going. 53 minutes. Let's look at a map. All right. Here we go.
We had a gander.
Yeah. So... Spokane is near Coeur d'Alene, which I think, this is a very good case with the Idaho murderers because he was going to school there. It's like a 45-minute jaunt.
Yes. So the Idaho 4, if you guys are following that case, Coburger.
With Moscow.
Yes.
Why do I do that?
Because everyone, that's what we hear on the news all the time. It's like Moscow, but it's Moscow. Here it's Moscow. They're in Russia. It's
Moscow here.
Moscow, Russia.
Moscow here. Did I say that right again? Did I fuck it up?
No,
okay.
You got it.
So it's very close. Even all the way to Spirit Lake where she was going, which is a little bit more north of Coeur d'Alene, it's still a 50-minute drive. So... not far.
No, I drive that for work. So do you.
So let me tell you about Opal.
Okay.
She's, of course, from Spokane, and she worked as an activity director for different healthcare centers.
Oh.
And she had 3 sons and a daughter.
So 4 kids. Okay.
Yeah. So Opal and Henry, we're going to go check on Opal's friend's house up in Spirit Lake. Opal had just recently met Henry just a few days before. Henry was this is a meet cute. Henry was a salesman, and while out on a sales call, he went to the wrong house. Whoopsie. And that's where he met Opal.
That is a meet cute.
And this is in 77, so legit, he went to the wrong house. There's no double checking by texting you.
No Google Map.
No, and you're definitely not getting the appointment reminder in your email. The two hit it off, and they spent some time together getting to know each other. Opal told Henry about her friend's place and how she needed to go check on it, but her car wasn't running. So she asked Henry if he'd like to drive her to Spirit Lake, and off they went. What a fun day trip. Like, I just met you a couple of days ago.
And this is crazy.
And
Let's go.
I have to drive out to my friend's cabin and check it out. You want to go with me? Grab some lunch? Like, I think it's so totally cute.
Very cute. This is definitely, it could have been a rom-com. We can obviously see based on the charges it wasn't, but it started out that way.
In the early hours of the next morning, Henry went to the sheriff's office to report Opal missing.
Oh my gosh. So that went south quickly. And where is Opal?
Opal's body was located 150 yards from the couple's campsite. She was partially dressed, and her throat had been cut so deep she was nearly decapitated.
How awful. Imagine meeting a gal and being like, this is so fun. We're having a great time. And then you have to report her missing, and this is what's found.
Henry was a traveling salesman. And his last trip back home, the wife said,
We're done.
I'm done. So then he meets, these guys are the same age, goes on he ends up at the wrong house, and he's like, this is cool. Let's have some fun. Like,
serendipity.
Yeah. So, anyway. Authorities questioned 2 men that were staying on the property. Edward D. Palmer, age 21, and Milton Tarter, 35. They were camping on the same property as Opal and Henry. The men were arrested and charged with first-degree murder. On June 20th, both men pled not guilty to first-degree murder and are being held without bond. In July, their public defender, Nick LaManna, filed a motion to allow Palmer and Tarter. This is so fucking ridiculous. He filed the motion for them to stay in the same cell at the Bonner County Jail.
When is that ever? You're usually not allowed to talk to any other defendants in a case, let alone live with them so you can plot and plan and scheme and get your story straight.
District Judge Caldwell denied the motion. He's like, yeah, no.
Thank you, Caldwell, for being the only adult in the room.
Attorney LaManna said he was going to file another motion to get the suspects out of solitary confinement. Bonner County Sheriff Mike Guthrie said his jail doesn't have special solitary confinement cells and that both men are being kept separate, quote, because we did not want them talking to each other before the trial.
So you're not in the hole. You're just in a cell by yourself.
Yeah.
Prima donnas.
That's a little different than solitary confinement.
Yes, it is.
You're not going to go chat it up with your buddy.
No, you don't get to be roomies.
They were roommates. Was in the motorcycle gang that was like, I need to see my girlfriend now.
Yes.
Gibson.
This is cruel and unusual. And then he went to the other jail and he's like, actually, it wasn't bad there. Can I go back there? This one's way worse.
Judge Cogswell also issued a gag order for the parties involved. The trial for Palmer and Tarter I don't know if it's tartar or tartar.
Tuna tartar.
It's spelled like tartar.
Tartar.
Tartar sauce. The trial for Palmer and Tartar starts in early January 1978. In opening statements, prosecutor Gary Finney stated that after Henry and Opal went to Spirit Lake to look at the house Opal was caring for, the couple headed to Sandpoint to visit a friend of Opal's. Her friend, Irene Coleman, was a waitress at the Travelers Lodge. Like, while we're in town,
Yeah, I got some friends here.
let's go have a drink. And you know what? Maybe Opal was like,
feeling it. Like, no, let's go over here.
And
Look at friend.
look at this guy.
Look who I brought.
You know
Very
it.
cutesy. Yeah.
Opal and Henry were having a few drinks when they met Palmer and Tartar. After a few hours of drinking together, they were having a good time.
Yeah.
The four of them went to the campsite of Palmer and Tartar in Henry's car. The campsite was actually a 10-acre property that Palmer's parents owned. It's like, hey,
Come got a really cool campsite.
yeah, come check it out. And they probably were hitting it off. I've met strangers in a bar when I've been out of town and we've chit-chatted, like, get a few drinks.
Yeah, let me show you my cabin, or like, let me show you over here.
Yeah.
Or there's a cool spot by the creek that's
Have you ever-
fishing.
yeah.
I've done it.
The two defendants had hitchhiked into town earlier that day. That's why they got a ride from Henry. I'm sure it's all like, hey, we're headed back. Oh, we could give you a ride.
And especially you've been drinking for a few hours, you feel
And now
a
you're-
little kinship.
Yeah, buddies. But they had hitchhiked into town earlier that day to purchase a part for the broken down van. And then they headed to the Travelers around noon. Like, we're in town, let's go get some drinks.
So they've been drinking since noon.
The group continued to drink at the campsite, and when the new part failed to fix the van, they headed back to town for a different part.
My goodness.
Can we just talk about the amount of drinking?
And going back in, I'm sorry, I'd be like, I guess we're waiting until tomorrow for this part. Like, determined. Well, you know how guys get. I can fix this van up road. If we just had the right part, I could have this thing running.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm picturing.
But when they headed back into town, they also stopped back at the Travelers for a few more cocktails.
You know what? The drinking and driving, not good. But how many times have we been like, you know, it's an early night, Danny, the last drink and we're good. And then we have like 3 or 4 more drinks just because we're chit-chatting it up and hitting it off. Like,
Didn't that happen last time we were? It was midnight.
yeah. And we told each other both, I'm like, I got to get home, Danny. It's too late.
Well, this is the problem. Normally, I'm the crying, whiny bitch that's ready to go to bed. I'm like, 9
Which is
o'clock.
good for me.
I'm going to melt at 9 o'clock. I happen to have the day off the next day
So there was no worries in the world. Yeah.
for me and no bad vibes coming off for me. Like, it's time to go. I got to get my, if I don't get my fucking 8 hours of sleep, I'm going to shrivel up and die. I'm like, this is fun. And I don't have to get up and go to work tomorrow. So shit, sorry about your luck, Steph.
We're going. And I'm like, Danny's out past 8 p.m. I have to stay because this is what a treat. What a rare treat.
How are you feeling the next day?
Not good.
I was so hungover.
I went into work late. Even Rick was like trying to wake me up and be like, honey, I think you have to get up now. And I was like, yeah. Anyway,
No, I was not doing well. The next day. I know me.
yeah.
If I'm drinking, if I'm staying up after 10 o'clock, still drinking, even like my ideal is 9, I want to be in bed.
Yes.
But because I'm an old fucking lady, but midnight, and I knew it.
And Danny saves my ass too, which is why I don't care when she's like, okay, it's my bedtime. I'm like, thank God. Someone is, because now I know I'm going to get to work on time the next day. And listen, I usually do, but man, Oh, I was late to work the next day.
And it was nothing important that we were just...
If you know me in real life, no, you don't.
I was sick that morning, damn it.
Kinda.
I was sick of something. Alcohol no, it wasn't that bad.
No.
Seriously, like
It was just a good night.
Yeah,
We're having a fun time.
Conversation was flowing good, apparently, and
We created a podcast because of it.
So these guys are like, "Yep, let's hit it up. Let's have another cocktail." But by this time, friend Irene was off of her shift, and she sat down with the group for a few hours, and
She's ready to start her night.
yeah, she's like, "Oh fuck, I'm done." So she sat down for a few hours and had...
This is a long day of drinking.
This is a full-on day drinking episode here. Irene offered Opal a place to stay that night so they didn't have to drive back to Spokane.
Thank you. That was very sweet and probably the wisest decision.
You know, how you can get not always making good choices under the influence. So Opal refused the offer, stating that Henry was drunk and she didn't know him that well. I'm just saying, I get that. Like, I don't want to hinder you with somebody. Like, look at my shiny new guy is how it started. And then she's like, oh, he's getting pretty drunk. I don't want to bother you with
We
this.
don't know how he's going to be.
Right.
Like, yeah. No, I totally get it. And it's...
But also way safer at a friend's house than with a strange man that, I shouldn't say strange man, but somebody recently that you know. Okay.
It's a tough line there. And honestly, hindsight is always 20/20.
Fuck yeah.
If there was big red flags, I'm sure Irene would have insisted or done more and been like, I really don't want you to go.
There was a little bit, was
Really?
a little bit of ready flag, but
Little urging.
but just because sometimes when people get drunk, they're way different. I mean, we're all different when we get drunk, but some people go a little, but Henry shouldn't have been of their concern.
Okay.
So the group ordered drinks to go. Yeah. Well, to-goies in styrofoam cups. They left around 7 p.m. So we're talking at least 7 hours of drinking. When they returned, Palmer offered Henry and Opal a tour of their 10-acre property.
Go on a little drive?
Well, they went back to the campsite.
Maybe go on a little walk? Let me take you on a tour?
I do it at the cabin.
Yeah. But what I'm thinking is the drive with our original couple. And take them, show them I'm doing my fire route.
Oh.
Ooh. It seems a little... And I don't know the story, guys, so I could be way off, but that's just where my mind goes.
I didn't even think about that. I was like, yeah, that's a pretty normal thing to do. Like,
because you're a normal person.
I'm like, there's a waterfall if you go up to the top.
Yeah.
You can see it. It's really cool. Not bad of a hike, but you can see it. If you go down this way, you're going to see this, like most of the time self-guided tours, but sometimes I tag along, just depends.
And for normal people, it's a normal thing. But
so they started out to go look at the property, but Henry decided he wanted to return back to the campsite. I'm thinking Henry is pretty fucked up.
Henry's like, my legs don't work anymore.
You want me to go hike what to do it? Now.
I'm ready to be literally passed out right now.
And Tartar stayed behind to work on his van.
Oh.
Henry laid down and fell asleep in his tent for a while, aka passed the fuck out from day drinking. Everybody's experienced this.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, it hit a little too hard too early. Need a nap.
I go bed now. I go bed right now.
And then I'm going to wake up at like 9, eat, and go back to bed. Yeah. I've never done that.
Ever.
When Henry woke up, No one was around, and he freaked out.
I would be freaked out even if nothing bad happened because you're not in a familiar place. You're like, I don't know these people. Where's my car? Like,
how did I end up here? What did I do this to myself?
Yeah.
So Henry was out of there, and he took off in his car. He was still drunk, and his car was seen weaving on the road by an off-duty sheriff's deputy. Dude, he was in a bad shape.
Yeah, I bet.
The deputy called in for a patrol car. Henry was pulled over, but the officers didn't find him drunk enough to arrest him.
They're like, yeah, everybody drinks and drives a little bit around here.
Hey, buddy. What they told him was, hey, just sleep it off in your car for a few hours.
Don't hear that anymore. And rightfully so. But
because when you're drunk, you're not making good choices. You're not making good choices because you even got behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Let alone, oh, no, just sleep it off. No. I'm like, you can sleep it off. I'm taking your keys. You hitchhike to the sheriff's office in the morning and we'll have a little chit-chat.
Yeah.
Chit-chat. Little chit-chat.
Can I pick you up?
Yeah. We're not driving you anywhere. Do you have a cell phone? Oh, wait. It's 1970.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's definitely hitchhiking.
You can't get an Uber.
Nope.
No Ubers here.
So Henry woke up around 3 a.m. and he started to drive back to Spokane. He looked over and he saw Opal's purse sitting on the front seat. I'm not saying probably completely sober by 3 a.m. Probably has a little bit of the spins. And he's like, oh shit, I brought a woman with me here and I don't have her. So this changed his mind and he headed back to Bonner County and went straight to the sheriff's office where he reported Opal missing. Which, A, should have. B, kudos, because he probably could have been arrested for DUI. Mm-hmm. He was not sober enough to be driving.
Yeah. Well, and I know the bar is in hell of someone being like, what? Sure, she's fine. And I mean, they are kind of strangers, barely not strangers at this point. So I could see someone being like, que sera, sera. Like,
sorry about your luck. You know, just bye. No, but he did turn around. So that was good.
Yeah.
And he went back and he reported her missing. And search and rescue, because this is literally in the middle of the night. So search and rescue was notified about a missing person at 7 a.m. Which I'm like, if you were search and rescue, yes. But what are you going to do at 4 a.m. versus 7? You're not seeing shit.
Yeah. They do not have temperature cameras and drones. And
no, they're not doing anything. And if you think about the story, is she a missing person because she wasn't in your tent? You drunkard?
Yeah. Did she just find another bow?
Right. Did she, maybe she's sleeping under the stars. Like, yeah. Did you go look? Like, so.
Like, you don't know she's actually missing.
Right. So I say kudos for the sheriff's department on being proactive and getting people out there, even though.
Instead of saying you guys were partying and you lost each other in the party.
Yeah.
And
she'll show up. Maybe she's at her friend Irene's house.
Yeah.
Who knows? Right? Because I didn't, and in my research, I didn't hear anything like, he said, you know, like, oh, it was really weird with these dudes, or I don't trust these. Like, I didn't hear any of that in any testimony or anything. So great for the sheriff's office.
Getting on it.
Getting out there. So the search and rescue was notified at 7 a.m. and they began their search around 9 that morning. They have to gather people.
Yeah.
People have to get out of bed. This is a voluntary search party.
Yes. And again, people don't have cell phones.
Right.
So if
they're literally ringing these guys at 7 o'clock in the morning, being like, all right, we got one for you. So by the time they gathered everybody, it was around 9 o'clock in the morning. I want to remind you, this is 10 acres.
Yes.
Search and rescue did not find Opal until 1 in the afternoon. They found her body partially clothed and nearly decapitated. Items located next to her body included a styrofoam cup, the party cup,
Their to-go cup.
to-goies, loose change, Palmer's wallet, and Opal's dead dog.
The dog?
The dog.
I didn't know.
I didn't know she had her dog with her either. But I'm thinking back in the day, if it was a good little dog, she probably could have taken it into the bar with her.
Oh, I bet.
Taken it. That is an official
They
word.
can taketh the doggeth to the saloon.
In Valley County, there was a bar that you could take your dogs in, and I loved it. It was my favorite. And some of the dogs would sit actually on a bar stool.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
Yeah, and just sit there. Anyways,
I know it's more popular now. Like, there's lots of little breweries that do it.
No, this is just like a regular old bar.
But just
Regular
a
old bar.
where you can have dogs.
Yeah.
That wasn't something every bar was doing back in these days.
No. Now it's trendy and cool, but back in the day,
it was like, we're a food service establishment. But
no.
I'm surprised about the to-go, because I know in some states you can still do it, like Louisiana.
Let me just tell you, though, Irene worked there.
Right.
And also, this is 78. And in these small towns, I think we've even done a story, like you could buy 6-packs or a 12-pack when you left the bar because there's nothing else opened. Mm-hmm. So they would like literally sell you booze before you left. It couldn't be open, but they would, and technically not supposed to do it, I don't think.
Right. No, I've even been to small towns now that do that.
Yeah.
And it's not like your trendy bar prices, but it's certainly more than a convenience store. But they're like, sure, if you want to go waddle back to your Airbnb or your, there's like 10 little cabins around. Sure, you can have this 6-pack for however ungodly amount.
Because there's literally nothing open. In Cascade, after 10 o'clock, the only place you were getting even a bag of chips was at the laundromat. Like, that was it. And the bar was open. Like, no, you're not going to go grab a hot dog or a microwave burrito.
No McDonald's. No DoorDash.
No, you're not getting anything. So a lot of, and
it's money for them.
Yeah. Yep. The price. So, and I also think Irene worked there. When you have an inn, you have an inn.
She's like, let me just go get you some to-go cups.
Yeah. Let me just.
Oh my goodness.
Defense attorney Lamanna stated there will be a lot of scientific evidence.
I'm just laughing because of the year.
And he trusted that after all the evidence is presented, the jury would reach a fair judgment.
Okay, Lamanna, what do you got?
Super scientific. Judge Cogswell sequestered the jury to a local motel. And on day 6 of the trial, Lamanna asked for a mistrial.
Oh,
just like that.
Mess up.
The motion was made on the grounds that the evidence and testimony made earlier about the discovery of marijuana was inflammatory and prejudicial.
Not in this day and age. It was not. It was like, you smoke pot, you're a piece of shit.
Right. Because during the search for Opal, authorities noticed a small baggie that appeared to have about an ounce of pot in Palmer's tent.
An ounce is a significant amount of pot. We're not talking a little teensy-tiny bag.
But it said appeared.
Yeah.
The judge denied the motion. He was like, no, I'm not going to dismiss this over. Shut up.
Yeah.
Bye.
Marijuana is a bad thing back then.
It was super bad.
So it's like, yeah, you had an ounce of marijuana, you degenerate. Like, no one is going to really be coming to your aid about it's.
You have anxiety?
I think
it's too bad.
I think it's still federally a Schedule 1 drug, is it not?
It is.
It's on the same level as
it's
heroin.
super still illegal in Idaho.
Federal.
You cannot have it in this state.
So, and I don't agree with that, but especially back then, they're like, no, all drugs are the same bad. You could do heroin, you could do pot. It's the same thing. You're a druggy loser.
But I do know that Oregon is enjoying all of the benefits from Idahoans.
Oh, the tax money alone.
Yeah, that's
why their roads are so nice. Their roads are immaculate. You can tell exactly when you cross the border because you're like, man, I feel like I'm just floating on air. And then it's like, oh, we're in Idaho, aren't we? Yep. If you were taking a nap in the back, no, you're not.
I should have researched how many, what do they call them? They're just marijuana stores. Thank you. Well, they're marijuana stores. Dispensaries are in Ontario, Oregon, because Ontario, Oregon is literally 45 minutes from the valley.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Idaho plates.
Yep. If you drive by, you will see.
Mm-hmm. There's one right by the Walmart over there, and it's full.
There used to be only one in Huntington was the closest one. And that's a very tiny town. And that place was jam-packed every day.
I think that's when it was still maybe just medical. And then Oregon said, fuck it, everything.
Ontario had to get like their city ordinance.
Oh, is that what it was?
Line.
Okay.
So even when it was just recreational, Huntington.
They got it in line because there's a fucking ton.
It boomed. They're like, boom, 10 dispensaries.
All Idahoans welcome.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the state of Idaho is missing out on some tax dollars.
Hello.
For the children.
Build the schools. Build the roads. Can we get... I'm tired of my tire almost coming off if I hit a bottle.
Even these roads that they've just chip sealed, they're fucking horrible.
They've already come off.
Ugh. Oh, okay.
We're getting off topic, but
Sorry.
Man, it's our everyday lives.
A pathologist testified that sperm cells were located on the seminal fluid taken from Opal's body during her autopsy. Henry testified that he had had a vasectomy. When his seminal fluid was tested, it contained no sperm cells.
There is some science.
There's science.
Especially if you had a vasectomy and sperm was found. That's a great... Well, we know it wasn't Henry.
I just feel so bad for Henry, and you have to go knock out some sperm to prove that you're not a murderer.
Well, and
the pressure.
It looks like you could be.
It absolutely. You were drunk. You were like, this scenario was not looking good for Henry.
No.
It just wasn't. Just the general, I just met this lady and I woke up and, oh, she's missing and you're drunk as a skunk. I mean, no. Yeah, and panicking bad. And being weird, like
and leaving her there.
Yeah, it was weird. So, but can you imagine? They're like,
I bet he thought that vasectomy was the best decision of his life.
I know. He's like, thank fucking God. But the pressure to do that, no,
not fun.
No. Human blood was located on Palmer's clothes, although they could not tell who it belonged to or how old it was.
Because the science was not sciencing.
Thank you. That was the thing I was going to say. Palmer and Totter did not testify in their defense.
See? That's okay.
And after 4 hours of deliberation, the jury found Palmer guilty of second-degree murder. He is facing 30 years to life. I'm not sure why this wasn't a death penalty case.
Yeah. I don't know how it wouldn't be.
Tartar was found innocent.
Well, I mean, he didn't leave his wallet at the scene, so that was a plus for him.
Yeah, and it was testified that he was working. He wanted to get that van working.
He's like, yeah, I know we're drunk, but this was our original mission. We got the part.
Yeah, I've done drunk projects before.
And who's to say if that's true or not, but
I'm kind of leaning, yeah.
Leaving your wallet at the scene of a crime is basically like providing your signature in Sharpie on the body. Put a couple fingerprints on there too.
And nowadays with the technology, they would have had him dead to rights because they would have had
done.
DNA everywhere. And Turd have been like, did you find my DNA on that fucking cup?
All my clothes.
Right.
Check all my clothes.
I got some grease. I got some liquor. No. Maybe a little marijuana on me. But I'm not being taking somebody up into the forest and murdering them. I was working on the fan, yo. And on February 21st, 1978, Palmer was sentenced to an indeterminate sentence of 75 years.
So what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I had to.
She was processing.
I had to do a little subtraction and addition, and
I'm going to clear it up for you.
please.
After serving only 10 years in prison, Palmer was paroled in April of 1988.
What was the reason?
Oh, because Idaho law allows for parole as soon as 5 to 10 years for second-degree murder.
That's such a fucking.
Oh, no. Let me get you more mad. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
He was initially placed on intensive supervision for 4 months. We're talking about the parole, right?
Yeah.
And then he was reassigned to maximum supervision. So there's intensive and then maximum.
So intensive is a top, maximum's next below.
But by May of 1989, Palmer was dropped all the way down to monitor status, bypassing the medium and minimum supervision levels.
Was it laziness of the parole, or was it his charm in some way? I can't imagine, like, this is a raped and murdered woman regardless. That's someone's been guilty of. Even if someone is appearing to be an upstanding member of society, I don't care if they are building homes for homeless children. I don't care. They murdered someone. And possibly raped them too. So,
Most likely.
yeah.
And he killed her fucking dog.
And the manner in which he murdered her was
Not kind.
absolutely disgusting.
It wasn't like, oh, like he panicked because she said no and he shot her. No, he cut her.
Nearly decapitated, which is just ridiculous.
That's overkill.
And you're full of rage and you're fucking weird in the head to do that to any person ever.
So let me tell you what monitor status is. This is going to piss you off more. It is self-monitoring.
Self. Dear parole board, I am doing great.
I'm awesome.
building houses for homeless children.
I'm great.
I'm going to be out of the country for 3 to 10 weeks. Bye.
I almost said something totally inappropriate.
You know, I think I'm picking up what you put down, but yeah.
Palmer was required to fill out monthly reports
Dear
and
diary.
mailed them to the state parole office. He was only visited once a year by a parole officer. And 2 years after his release, he killed David and Kathy.
And they were just like, oh, he's been on parole and he's been on parole and we haven't really checked him.
I want to know how he left Bonner County and was allowed. I do think this is part of the problem. That conviction was in Bonner County. And you know, if you move in out of county, don't ask me how I know this, but I know that if you change counties, you have to get it approved by the parole board. Who the fuck approved him to move 6 hours away to Boise County? I know I've been in prison for 10 years, but I have this great job opportunity 6 hours away. No.
You've only been out this long. We don't know what you're going to do. Wow. What an injustice.
Yeah.
And now we see the
Because these
consequences.
poor kids would still be alive if if the parole board had held him accountable and not just let him willy-nilly move all over the state. And let me just just think about this. He got his parole violation for going back up to Spokane, Washington, which is literally 45 minutes from Bonner County. Like, the Bonner County borders Washington state. But they let him move all the way down here. We're a long state. Like, we are the entire length of Washington and Oregon.
So he was up Bonner County and he moved to somewhere, Bonner County, like Panhandle. We're talking like near Canada. And he moved all the way down to like where Boise is. If you guys know, locals will know.
Yeah.
But look up where Boise is. Look up where the border to Canada is. It's not right on the border, but
They're like, yeah, go ahead and move 6 hours away. You're good. You murderer? Yeah.
and especially without technology like we have these days.
There was no long chain.
There was no chain to the police station where they're like, he's still on there.
Got you good, fucker. Yeah, that's a failure. So we're back to the sentencing hearing for the murder of David and Kathy.
Yeah.
So we're all the way back up to 1993. Prosecutor Kane is asking the judge for the death penalty. Defense attorney Chastain said life in prison would be a better option, taking into the account that a death sentence would begin an endless cycle of appeals. Fair. And those appeals would be a significant financial burden to the small county. I'm telling you, back in the day, I want to say there was like 300 people in Idaho.
Probably.
It was so tiny. So they would have, what was that case we did up there where they had to go take a loan from the bank?
Yes. The Eastern Idaho one where it was almost in like...
No, there was the one where they had killed the guy and then they dragged him. Remember, they were collecting
It was
firewood.
right inside.
Yes.
Right inside the line.
It was like a quarter mile inside the county line. And this little small county had the burden of trying that. And they went, I think he did get the death penalty. And then it was appeals. And it just drained him. So I think Chastain was kind of like appealing to the judge.
You're right.
Because remember, we just said this should have been a death penalty case.
Yeah.
But I think that is why.
No, I agree because I bet, because it took the Supreme Court forever to notice, right? But who's going to notice first when all of these death penalty cases are getting handed out like freaking candy?
Yeah.
The counties are going to be like, hey, yeah, I get it. We're on a kick here. Okay, Oprah, I get it. But we can't afford that. We've seen what's been happening to all these death penalties. We have 300 residents. How are our taxpayers going to pay this?
So yeah, Chastain's like, this is going to be a significant financial burden to this small county. And District Judge Schroeder said, quote, there is a lingering doubt over the murder conviction of Palmer. So he sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
You know what? In this circumstance, I think that was probably best for everyone.
Especially for these families.
Yes.
It
Keep them off the streets because that didn't happen before.
did not. And we don't want to see his fucking face.
Self-monitoring. Writing out your own report. I mean, listen, imagine doing your own review at work. Exceeds and all. Like,
I'm a fucking rock star.
yeah. And especially if no one's the wiser, no one's stopping you. You could be CEO in months.
I'm a self-proclaimed CEO.
Yeah. My goodness.
Currently in 2025, Edward Palmer is 69 years old and he resides at the Idaho State Correctional Center. He is serving 2 life terms.
Like to hear his story. Like to hear if he was buddies with Creech or if they had a beef. Because he's been in there with Creech then, right?
Oh, for sure.
Long time.
Maybe they're best buddies and pals. They're about the same age. These guys are living in a box.
Yeah.
But
the real solitary. I bet now he knows what solitary is compared to what he was complaining about when he couldn't be there with his co-defendant.
I mean, I can't get my story straight.
Look what planning to do.
Some twists and turns and some failure definitely on the parole board. 10 years for a brutal murder. That's a brutal murder. It wasn't, you didn't accidentally hit her with a car.
Yeah.
You weren't, yeah, no, you took her up there and you
found the situation, and then he kind of made the situation.
Yeah.
On the
He's like, hey,
one.
yeah.
I've been here before. It's so very similar in the partying together, drinking together, having fun.
And I think that David and Kathy were excited to go up. I mean, I've met strangers like, come look at that. I'm like, that is so cool. It's like, yeah, you can come up here and this is where we look out. Because you know those fire lookouts?
Oh, yeah.
They're up on a point.
Amazing.
And amazing views. And, you know, those kids, that would be awesome. He's probably like, I have to go do this. You want to come with me and then we'll finish up business? I have to go check this right now. Like, it's my time. I'm a volunteer firefighter. Like, I have to go do this. I can totally see that happening. And these guys, he's like,
there's
you guys
no other way to find the trails back then.
Right. It's like, you want to come with me or you can wait here?
No, let's go on a little adventure. I could totally picture going and doing that.
And then they got a sicko head.
That's like, oh, I
Perfect.
can't believe how similar the two stories are.
Yeah. So,
anyway, fuck you, Palmer. Have a nice life. Instead of death.
It did save some heartache, but
yeah.
What a miserable experience.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dani, for a wonderfully researched case. This was a twist and a turn for sure. Again, follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you like. We love making little funny videos for you. But any closing thoughts, Dani?
Share with your word of mouth is the best way.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Sure. Best way to get our podcast out there. We're over 30 now. We've been plugging away. So,
yeah.
Till then.
10-4 rubber ducky.
Fuck yeah.